Good morning, YouTube. Back in the shop working on this set of liner locks. Got quite a bit left to do. First thing I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to cut the lock bars on these and get the relief for the lock bars done on the insides. Then we can start working on blades. So got a lot to do. Let's get to it. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and cut this lock bar relief in the bolsters and the handles. I'm gonna cut the bolster first. So what I got here is a machinist nightmare. So don't look at it too hard. But I gotta use what I got here. I've got a piece of angle on an angle. This cut is gonna be sloping. And I'm gonna cut down about 17 thousandths on the deepest end, and it'll slope back on the handle because the bar's gotta come over and kind of go in a little bit there. That way you're not binding when you open and close your knife. It's too tight. So hopefully this will stay together and we'll get it done. All right, let me explain a couple things. If you notice, if you can see that, when I'm milling that, I go up some so that the corner of the liner will go in there. So now my liner will move over enough. It depends on how deep you have your detent set, but I have these that are round, cut down at the furthest point here at the bolster at around 17 thousandths. That's about where I found when I get my detents put in, and when the detent gets on the blade and you have to move over, this gives it enough room to get over. If you don't, you'll be in a bind. Now, this cut is deep here and tapers out to nothing up here. You can see where the end mill kind of marked it there, but you could take some sandpaper and just sand that a little bit and it's just smooth. So it tapers to nothing, basically. So with that done, I've got a couple more to do, and we're ready to move on to something else. I'll be glad to. Testing 1, 2. All right, I've decided I'm gonna go ahead and set the detent on these. First, I gotta drill the hole, set the detent. You probably can't see this, but there's a small mark there. I'll get a close-up for you. It's up at the very top of this lock bar. This is the way I designed this knife. I want that detent to be like the last thing to drop off of the blade when it comes around. There's a whole lot that goes into designing a folder. It may not seem like it, but there is. Nobody gave me this pattern. I had to sit down, I had to learn the program to design it, and I'm still working on it. I'm going to make a mark here on this lock bar. It's going to be about 50 thousandths from each edge right up here in the corner. That gives me barely enough room to drill that hole and set that detent. And once I get them to this point, I go ahead and assemble them because I want to make sure that lock bar can move over without binding. And I've got good free movement here. Everything's working smoothly. Got them all three working the same way. No issues here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grind the lock faces on the blades before I grind the bevels. I find that if I mess up a lock face, I don't have to have wasted all that time grinding and getting this blade right. So I'm going to grind them at 7.5 degrees. I will zero out my platen using a level, digital level, and then I will set my work rest at 7.5 degrees, which will actually be tilted up 7.5. Grind the lock face very slowly, then come over here and check it out. Now I've already hardened the lock bar face, and I do that by flame hardening. Get the titanium cherry red, let it cool on its own, and you don't have to do any carbidizing. It'll last forever. I've done it for years. Learned it from an Australian filmmaker friend of mine. He's no longer with us now, but works great. So I've got all that done. Lock bars bent, detent set. Let's grind some lock faces. So once I get everything locking up in the liners without the bolsters and handles, then I go ahead and assemble them. And that puts that extra pressure, and it could change things a little bit. Make sure everything's straight. And so I've got good lockup on all of them. Real, it's early lockup, which is what I like. And performing good centered blades. Everything's looking nice. So now I can go ahead and grind the blades or contour the frames and bolsters. I'll just contour the bolsters on this Mammoth because I'm going to use this contour, whatever that is, match it to the bolsters. Not a lot, but it's a little. But we're going to do that on the next episode. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you to my patrons, and we're going to see you on the next one right here.